Kurt Cobain wasn't just a musician, he was a poet, an innovator, and a troubled genius whose songwriting changed music forever. But how did he write his songs? What techniques did he use to craft lyrics and melodies that still resonate today? Let's break down Cobain's songwriting process, album by album, and explore how he built Nirvana's sound, from Bleach to the unmade fourth album that never came to be. Nirvana's 1989 debut album Bleach was the rawest form of Cobain's songwriting. Influenced by punk and heavy rock, Kurt often wrote the music first, using simple, heavy riffs. He then layered in lyrics that were abstract, sometimes nonsensical, yet emotionally charged. Songs like Floyd the Barber and Negative Creep showcased his love for dissonance and heavy distortion, while About a Girl was a rare melodic departure inspired by the Beatles. Kurt would later admit he had to hide his pop influences in a scene that thrived on aggression. About a Girl, a rare pop-driven moment on Bleach, about his then-girlfriend Tracy Marander. At the time, Nirvana was immersed in the grunge and punk scene, and writing a love song seemed almost out of place, but Kurt had been listening to Meet the Beatles on repeat, and was drawn to the simplicity of their melodies. Though the lyrics never explicitly mentioned Tracy, the song reflected their strained relationship, particularly her frustration that Kurt was unemployed and more focused on his music than their future. When Nevermind hit in 1991, Cobain's songwriting took on a more structured form, thanks to his love for classic pop songwriting. He admitted to being inspired by the Beatles, especially John Lennon, while still keeping his edge with cryptic and ironic lyrics. Smells Like Teen Spirit was his attempt at a Pixies-style loud, quiet, loud dynamic, but it became an anthem of disillusioned youth. Many of his lyrics from this era were stream of consciousness. He often took phrases from personal notebooks and rearranged them later. Smells Like Teen Spirit began as a phrase scribbled on a wall by Bikini Kill's Kathleen Hanna as a joke about a deodorant brand, but Kurt took it and transformed it into a generational anthem. The song's cryptic and almost nonsensical lyrics were a result of his collage-like approach to songwriting, where he pulled words and phrases from various sources, his notebooks, random conversations, or even things he heard on TV, and arranged them into something evocative rather than literal. Cobain would scribble down random thoughts, then later use a collage-style approach to craft his lyrics, sometimes making them deliberately hard to understand. After the massive success of Nevermind, Cobain wanted to strip things back. He brought in Steve Albini to record in Utero, an album full of jagged edges, abrasive sounds, and deeply personal lyrics. Songs like Heart-Shaped Box were filled with cryptic symbolism and deeply personal pain. His lyrics became more direct, yet still surreal, influenced by his fascination with poetry and cut-up writing techniques, much like William Burroughs. He frequently pulled from his personal life, repurposing lines from letters, journals, and even offhand remarks in conversations. This method allowed him to inject hidden messages into his music, messages that were often directed at specific people, but disguised in a way that made them resonate with a much larger audience. One of the best examples of this is Heart-Shaped Box, which was heavily inspired by his relationship with Courtney Love. The song's haunting line, "Forever in debt to your priceless advice," was lifted directly from a note Kurt had once written to Courtney. This wasn't just a lyrical flourish, it was a direct message to her, one that no one else would have recognized at the time. The meaning behind the phrase remained a secret until after Kurt's death, when his personal journals were published, revealing the original note. This discovery shed light on how Kurt used his music to communicate in ways that went beyond simple storytelling. Instead, he embedded personal history into his songs, turning them into coded conversations with the people closest to him. Before his death in 1994, Cobain was working on songs for Nirvana's fourth album. While only You Know You're Right was fully recorded, home demos like Do Re Mi suggested he was moving in a more melodic, introspective direction. Kurt's home demos, later released in Montage of Heck, show him experimenting with softer, more haunting melodies. His notebooks reveal lyrics that never made it to songs, showing an artist still evolving, even in his final days. Kurt Cobain's songwriting was a mix of raw emotion, structured chaos, and poetic ambiguity. From Bleach to In Utero, he evolved from punk purist to reluctant rock icon, crafting lyrics that were deeply personal yet universally felt. Cobain's songwriting was an extension of his inner world, part stream of consciousness, part confessional letter. Whether he was borrowing lines from personal notes or constructing surrealist imagery, his lyrics always carried an underlying truth, even when their meaning remained elusive to the rest of the world.